What is up, everyone? I don't know if you can hear me or not. I am going to rotate this because this is pretty dope. This is random, and I am going to bring on Mr. Jon Brunson. Thank you guys for tuning in to Random. There we go. I don't know why it's not giving me the issue of not being able to rotate. This is what happens. This is what happens. Mr. John. Let's see, I'm bringing him on and everything. This is going to be pretty cool. This is the debut. What's up, John?
There it is.
How's it going, man?
What's going on?
Yeah, this thing's
Man,
pretty
great.
tricky. I'm trying to rotate it, but it's not letting me for some reason it's not letting me get the split screen. So just rotate the phone back. There we go.
All right.
Yeah. So unfortunately we can't do the split screen for whatever reason.
That's a doggone shame.
Yeah, I don't know why, but we're gonna make it work.
It's probably because I'm not. It's probably because I'm not Facebook verified yet. I haven't reached that plateau yet where I can get that special tilt feature.
You know what? It's funny because whenever anything that is associated with random, the most random things happen. So it's like, huh? Really? Well, no, thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, it happens, man. It's funny because I remember the last time we actually did the show, which was on the internet radio station. There's like just a whole bunch of stuff going on
Yeah.
that it's like you can't script this. It was a good show. I mean,
You really can.
that was a good 3 hours.
It was.
We were flowing and everything, and before we,
I know. And the funny thing is, it was 3 hours of me stuck in traffic. So that was like the best part of it. It was like 6 hours for me because it was 3 hours in traffic
yes,
and then 3 hours with you. But man, I'm so happy for the return of Random and
yes,
getting a chance to do this, man. Especially since so much time has passed, and so much has happened. So why not bring back the Random? You know what I mean?
exactly, man. And I think what's cool about this, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this back is, when I had it on the internet radio station, there was so much it was a limit to what I could do. And when it comes to the word random,
Yeah.
I mean, random's random. You can't have a limit or, a
Exactly.
box or anything. So I'm out the box. So this is going to be,
Yes, sir.
for those of you who are listening, this show is going to be anytime, any day, anywhere, with whoever. I don't even know who's the next guest going to be or what have you, but it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun, but also my goal is that this may showcase the influence of those who I'm interviewing and those that are watching and commenting and everything. Because at the end of the day, we need more of this, if you want to call it edification, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
And everything. So, John,
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
those of you who don't know who Jon Brunson is, he is actor, director, singer, and event host.
Amongst other things, yeah, I'm kind of a Swiss Army knife when it comes to the entertainment industry, man. It's like no matter what slot you pick, singing, hip hop dancing, party MC, party
Okay.
hosting, screenwriting, filmmaking, it doesn't matter. This is my field, and I'm diving into every pocket of the industry that I can. So, the man above gave me the blessings. All I'm trying to do is put it to good use.
Now, I got to ask you this question. I think I asked it maybe when we did the radio show. But, man, how do you balance all these hats, man? Again, you're actor, director, singer, event host. I know you're going on auditions. Those of you uh, who are
Yeah.
following John on social media, you're always posting of, your auditions and going there and everything. Man, how do you manage that, man?
Well, really, more than two ingredients, but two primary things. That guy up there, this beating heart in here. I mean, really, there's nothing that can't be done if he's not giving you, if God's not giving you the ability to find a way to create balance and to make things work. So, really, I wake up every morning with just drive, determination in my heart. I work a part-time, full-time job as a supervisor at UPS currently, on top of, trying to jump to these auditions every opportunity that I get, while also, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm about 5 pounds away from my goal as of
Congratulations.
this morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And this has been ongoing for the past 3 years. But you just have to make that time. You have to find a way to create that balance. And that's the thing. It's not going to be given to you. It's not going to be easy. So the minute you have an opportunity that you can take, you just have to trust God and you gotta take it. You can't think about it. You just gotta do it. You gotta dive right in.
Nice, nice, man. I totally agree with that, man. Now I gotta ask you a question, man. How much,
All right.
how important is writing things down? And we were discussing this before we went live. Um, I'll let you explain how important writing is, and I'm gonna tell a funny story of why it's important. Uh, you should write things down. So tell us. I mean, you got a busy schedule. And I mean, there's only so much that your
Man.
mind can really remember before things start
Yeah.
slipping and everything. So how important is it for you?
Honestly, I think technology today, because 9 times out of 10, I don't write a lot of stuff down. I usually get an email. What I do is I take that email and I copy all the information that I need. I put it to my calendar. Not only do I put it to my calendar, I use a GPS app, and then I'll set the address, the date, the time, and everything that I need to do, and it reminds me that way. If I don't do any of those things, then I'll record a memo to myself and I'll make sure that it plays back at the accurate time so I know what's going on and where I have to be. If I don't get into any of those things, I mean, it's funny. It's funny what the mind can do. So I kind of utilize, my steel trap when it comes to, doing this stuff. But you got to write things down, people, because you can easily confuse something without even thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, you can probably go to an audition that you have and think you're auditioning for one character and you're auditioning for another character. And it's because, it might be a 20-minute bracket or a 30-minute bracket between, spot A and spot B. So it is best that you write things down. However, if you do have a smartphone, utilize your calendar, do a lot of copy and pasting, send a voice memo to yourself, make sure you kind of set it where it plays at a certain time. If you can't do that, just make sure that the next day when you get ready, to get on with your day, that you go and check all your memos and verify that you don't have anything going on for that day. Because if I didn't have the calendar and the app on my phone, I would probably be lost all over.
Man, now the the,
Serious.
the story I can relate to that because I believe it was a month ago. Was it a month ago? You contacted me. You're like, hey, I'm gonna send you the movie
Yeah.
Dissolve, A Game of Truth, and let me tell you, folks, we're gonna get into that. It is a really fantastic film, um, beautifully written.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
on the edge of your seat and everything. It's really good. Um, we had about, man, I think a 45-minute conversation because I think I was walking from Wrigley Field or something like that.
Yeah.
And we were just talking and
Yeah.
everything. You're like, man, check it out. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna check it out when I get home. I'm gonna watch it, put something together, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, because you had it for a month. Yeah, man, you had it for a month. Didn't
Yeah,
even watch it.
yeah, and mind you,
You should have wrote it down. You should
yes,
have wrote it down.
yes. Now I apologize to you and everything. Now I was, I was busy doing the consulting and everything. So when I get home and everything, I think it was a Sunday that you called me. So, I'm watching, whatever Bears game was on and the football games, and it's like, oh man, cool. And then I think Ballers was on at that time. I was like, man, I'm gonna watch Ballers. So I watched it, and then it wasn't until a few weeks later you called me. You're like, hey, did you watch Dissolve Game of Truth? And I'm like,
He didn't even watch
I'm
it.
like,
He gave me a million
I'm
reasons
like,
why he didn't watch
oh man.
it.
I'm like, man, this is why you write things down. I'm like, oh God.
Exactly.
But man, I get
See, and the best part is people I asked him at random, and he didn't even remember to watch it. Running a segment called Random, I asked him at random to watch the movie, and he randomly had to give me 100 excuses
oh
why he
man.
didn't watch it.
And what now what's cool? And I was a man of my word. I'm like, look, after we get off this phone, I am going to watch it, and then I'm going to, send you a few critiques and stuff like that. But I am going to watch it, and I did watch it, and gave you feedback and everything, and I it was really good.
That he did.
Now,
That he
for
did.
those of you who are watching,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
this movie, Dissolved, A Game of Truth, it involves a board game.
Yes.
And it's for adults. This ain't something for kids like, hey, no, this ain't for kids or anything.
No. This ain't Taboo Junior.
Yeah, it's a board game which when you start reading it and you get into the mechanics of the game, things start taking a dark turn. So John, explain to those who are watching, a little bit about Dissolve, the Game of Truth.
Absolutely. So, Dissolve the Game of Truth. It comes from it comes from the idea of an independent film channel movie that I was watching, and ideally, what it is if you take the objective of Saw, the things that we take for granted in this life, and then someone holding you accountable for these things and putting you in a situation where you have to survive based on that circumstance. Ideally, the board game is similar to that. What happens is when you pick a card, bad things that you fantasized about tends to happen. In this situation, a game maker who has created the game for psychological warfare reasons has now brought 5 individuals into his home to kind of create this idea of an interview. Ideally, the game is already in play, so he's already kind of dipping into that dark fantasy in which the card reveals to him. So now he has a certain amount of time to do what he needs to do to get rid of it. As the movie continues on, we now find that the game has been passed on to a gentleman named Jon Vander, who has been searching for the game for several years. And now he's the current game owner. So while he is the current game owner, he also is hosting a reconnecting game night with 4 friends whom he hasn't seen in several years. So there are so many past demons and situations that come into play. Add in the darkness and the intrigue of Dissolve the Game of Truth being the board game of the night selected for the game night, and Gian taking elements of the game a little too seriously. All of those combinations together, you now get the tagline, honesty will not be the best policy. And that is Dissolve the Game of Truth, the upcoming thriller to be released this winter.
Nice, nice. And I told you this after I watched it, and my feedback. I was like, as soon as it starts, and I'm not going to give it away, folks, in detail what it is. You just got to watch it and everything. And after this interview, we'll give you the links and everything just to check it out and everything. And man, watching the first 5 minutes, you get this. You're like, but then you're just like, ooh, ooh. And after that settles down, then you're just like, okay, where is this? A film is good when in the back of your mind you're like, okay, how's this gonna end? Like, I don't want to turn it off and turn it away or flip the channel. Whatever. I want to see how this ends. Like, where is this going? Like, you just created this intrigue and just like, oh. And man, it was really good. I'm like, man, this is all
Thank
right.
you.
I like it. I
Thank you.
like it. Now, what was your influence, you know, behind
Uh,
creating uh Dissolve Game of Truth?
well, for those of you that have had a chance to read some of my work, ideally, I like to try to think of things outside of the box. When you're writing, you generally gauge into the story concept. You want to build a good character base, and you always kind of add in some personal experiences and things of that sort. When I started writing Dissolve, I was in the middle of trying to get another project off the ground. Unfortunately, that project did not see the light of day. It will now, and we'll talk about that next time. But as this project was kind of crumbling within, I watched this movie. I honestly cannot remember the name of the movie, but it is an independent film channel movie. They are the best movies that you'll ever witness, people. Look for them. So I finished the movie, and all of a sudden, I'm like, well, huh. And then I just started writing, and um, at the time, I was going over to an apartment building in Kenosha. I live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And this apartment building just kind of set the stage for what I was trying to convey. So I literally sat down. I wrote the first 30 pages in a day. It was going to be the first idea of a short film script. Ultimately, I showed it to a few people. A few people that read it felt it was very abrupt and that it had a lot of unanswered questions. So I went back, looked at it again, and I found certain areas that I could build on. And then I was throwing in other characters because at first it was just more the setting for this game night, something happening. And then it's like all of a sudden it all kind of comes full circle at the very end. Ultimately, I expanded upon that and I built more of a character range for the game maker being a part of the opening of the film, so you kind of get a feeling or an idea of who he is, and then expanding upon the four friends getting together. Gian, who in the film is portrayed by the awesome Deontay Hackler. Celine, the ex-girlfriend of Gian, who is played by Carla Serrato. She does an amazing job. Tia, who is played by Jennifer Lenius. She killed it. And David, who is portrayed by Terry King, also an amazing actor. And generally, I was able to expand upon certain situations. David being a guy that he's a very strong-willed character, kind of the strong silent type, fresh kind of out of the military. It's been 7 years since he's actually hung out with Gian, but there's so many skeletons in the David Gian closet and the Tia Celine closet, and then somehow it all kind of intersects between Gian and Tia, and then Celine and David, and it's just all over the place. And ideally, that's what I wanted. I wanted to build that interesting conflict where these four friends get together, but are they really friends? And what happened with their friendship? And now we're throwing in this board game randomly.
Ah, no pun intended.
Randomly, we throw in this board game,
Okay.
and now it's going to put a spin on things because games usually bring people together, and the idea of now you can roll the dice, move your peg 5 spaces, and then pick a card, and suddenly there's a darkness that's it's starting to come out of you. And it's almost like if you've ever worked with a person and you're like, you know what, if that person gets a raise before me, I'm going to kill them. Well, imagine if you and that person who got a raise are playing Dissolve the Game of Truth and you happen to pick a card. Well, guess what? That innermost dark fantasy is going
Comes
to
to
come
life.
to life, and
Gotcha.
it's not complete until the job is done.
Gotcha.
So that's where the idea of Dissolve the Game of Truth came from. It's a stem of life. It's a part of personal experiences and things that I've gone through, but all the while it's just taking something that could be just an original thriller concept and going completely out of the box with it. And ultimately you get an hour and 10 minutes of that. So, people, it is coming out soon, and I am going to create an outlet for you, the viewers, who would like to watch Dissolve the Game of Truth. If you please go on the Facebook page, Um, Facebook.com/dissolve got 2016. If you go on the Facebook page and you just hit up the main page and just say that you want to view the movie, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a private link via Vimeo, and you guys will personally get a chance to see the movie before it's officially released.
Awesome, awesome, man. As you're describing the movie, like I'm reliving the images of the movie, and like I can from front to back, I can picture it and everything. Man, it's a really, really good film. I gotta ask you, man, who was your influence as coming up and just aspiring to get in the entertainment industry? Like, who was your influence? Whether it was a director, actor, singer, like who was your influence that,
Oh
you know
man,
what, I gotta get into this?
holy cow! Really, the stronger is Denzel Washington. I've always been a fan of a lot of his work, but I've also watched a lot of other actors as well. I've been a fan of Clooney. I've been a fan of Matt Damon. Um, I've been a fan of Sidney Poitier. Um, for directors, I mean, we're talking Scorsese. We're talking Michael Mann, Ridley Scott, Tony Scott, Jonathan Demme, a lot of the directors that may not be here today, and a
Hmm.
lot of the directors that really kind of paved the way, and even like the heavy hitters right now, J.J. Abrams, Joss Whedon, um, even though Snyder, Zack Snyder, some people love him, some people hate him, but I mean, I love the guts that he brings to the table with, the DC universe. And, but I also am a big fan of independent and overseas films, foreign films, because they're willing to push the envelope even further than what we see in America. And that always intrigues me the most when it comes time for me to, take an idea and put it on paper and hope, that I can make something of it one day. Ideally, my mind is set between foreign cinema and American
Okay.
cinema. I want to be able to push the envelope a little bit and pull you back in without going completely overboard, without overdoing the concept,
Yeah.
without overdrawing out the
Like Human
story, and
Centipede.
without making it too complex.
Yeah.
Exactly,
That
exactly.
okay.
But hey, if you can get that appeal, I'm
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, that movie, folks. Yeah, that the term viewer discretion advised, that's an understatement for that film.
Is an understatement.
Like
Yeah, that's an understatement.
it's ugh, ugh, ugh. Now, yeah,
However, I don't know if anybody has seen the second one. The
I
second
seen it.
one is equally as gross as the
Yeah.
third, but the third, I'm going to personally tell you, stay away from Human Centipede 3.
Oh God.
It's yeah. Just keep it on one and two.
Now,
Keep it on one and
now I
two.
gotta ask you, when you see films like that, you know, like for me being in the entertainment industry, radio broadcasting, social, we're in the entertainment industry, basically. When you see stuff like that,
Yeah.
what goes through your mind as an actor, director, like how, like, what is your reasoning for creating this? Like, is there a form, like, how do you see any form of entertainment with this?
Well, and that's interesting because when I first started getting into movies,
Hmm.
I would just watch the movie as a whole. So I'm watching the performances, and then I'm not really listening for the story, but I'm just trying to view how the actors are reacting to one another. And when you're a kid and when you're younger, a lot of things that you now dissect today, you don't think about when you originally watched it, when you watch a movie. Like when I first watched the movie The Lost Boys, that movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
No, I love
Because
that
when it
movie.
came out and I was
Yeah.
a kid, you know, it the idea of just the perfect lighting and just the face popping out with the fangs, and it was just perfect timing at that time, and it could kind of go a little overboard, but you don't see it. Now when I watch a movie, I dissect it. I'm literally watching and trying to see how quick I can catch the story. Now I'm watching the visual standpoint and the camera angles. Now I'm listening for the dialogue, and now I'm watching the interaction between the actors, and I'm trying to gauge, who's really carrying the weight of this story right now. So now there's so many elements that come into movie watching for me that when I watched Human Centipede, it was jarring, but it had me on the edge of my seat. Like I was getting goosebumps when the guy has these three people in his basement in the hospital beds, and they're paralyzed, or they're drugged, and he's telling them exactly what he's going to do. They can't do anything about it. Then he actually creates this idea of his, this sick idea, and it really just had me so engaged just by the story that even though the acting wasn't the greatest, like the story kept me going
Okay.
until the very end. So if you got a good story and you can carry it, there's so much that you can do with it, but there are so many other elements that can help elevate that story as well. You don't want to just rely heavily on story, and that's what I love about my film Dissolve the Game of Truth, is because though it's an original idea, and you already know that if it's not something you've seen before, the skepticism is going to be really high. But now you have to put the trust in the actors to convey that story. And not only convey that story, you have to direct them, you have to block them, and you have to make sure that what's happening in the moment is believable enough that it carries from scene to scene to scene to scene. And Human Centipede did a really good job of bringing something original to the table. Again, to me, the acting wasn't the greatest, but the story was strong.
Yeah. So for those of you who are watching, right now, this is Jon Brunson, director of Dissolved, A Game of Truth. He is an actor, director, singer, and event host.
That's me.
If you guys want to ask a question, just type it in. Towards the end of this
Yes, please.
interview, I will relay the question to him and everything. So, John, I gotta ask you, man. Now, you described your point of view, your perspective as a director in regards to films such as Human Centipede. As an actor, would you ever go out and audition for a film like that?
You know what? Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. I'm a big horror movie guy.
Okay.
Okay. I love scary movies. I don't like the theory of black people in horror movies though, because for some reason that premise still kind of exists. That we don't last long. I don't know why we don't last long, because we're so street smart out here, but then you make us so movie dumb in films. But really, like I like the idea of doing something that I wouldn't normally consider doing.
Okay.
Something that's just completely above the norm, something that's completely out of the box. Even when I created Dissolved, a lot of people that were on the team were asking me, well, are you going to star in this movie? Are you going to star in this movie? Well, just to give you guys a little insight on me, I like to create opportunities if I'm not being given the opportunities myself. So, no, I will never star in my own movie. I have no intent in starring in my own movie, because if I'm already the writer and the director and I'm shooting the film, that's too many hats to wear. I'm not saying nobody can do it, but what I'm saying is from my side, I won't do it, because I don't want to take away from the project.
Okay.
If there's something that I wrote so intense that I can't deliver as an actor, well, then now I'm going to be the reason for the sinking ship. I would rather give the opportunity to someone who's equally as hungry as me, guide them, tell them what I want, show them what I want, block, and, really just kind of give them their freedom to take everything I'm saying and turn it into a reality. So from an actor standpoint, yes, I would audition for something as crazy as Human Centipede or Hostel or Oculus, or something to that degree, Insidious and stuff like that. I would love to do something like that, because it really, even though people don't get scared of a lot of things, the idea of the supernatural and things of that extent, I mean, it does exist. So why not take something like that, apply it to you, and really just take it to the next level. There's nothing wrong with doing something a little different.
Gotcha. Now, getting back to dissolve a game of truth. Many people who may be watching
Yes,
or
yes.
on the internet, people are like, "Oh, it's easy to create a movie. We just write this and get a few people in. Hey, how's it going?" Describe to the people watching the discipline, the amount of. It's not a bad thing, but it's a lot that goes into doing a movie. It ain't a walk in the park. It ain't rocket
Good
science,
Lord
but it ain't a rock.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, so when I first started wanting to create or having an idea, putting it on paper and saying, well, this is something that, should be made. There really is a lot that goes into it. The script for Dissolved actually went through about between 6 and 8 rewrites. There were so many things that I added in, I modified, I changed, I moved, I this, I that. That alone took about a month. Casting was probably wrapped up in a week. The decision wasn't made for maybe 2 more weeks. Then you have to build your production team with them. That takes a month. I was kind of to do all of these other things because I couldn't find the right people to fill those positions. But also, the double-edged sword to that is as excited as I was.
There we go. All right. I don't know if we're back. Pardon the interruption. We are experiencing Wi-Fi technical difficulties. Give me 1 second, folks. Let me see if I can reconnect them. See, that's what. Hold on, folks. John, are you there? Hold on. Let's bring him back on. Hold on. All right, folks. I think there we go. Think I lost them. Man, it was a really good time and everything. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is a privilege. It is an honor to have him on. Um, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please comment below. I will be more than, here we go. Here we go. All right. Hold on. All right. I don't know if he's back on. See, this is the fun and cool part about random. You don't know what's going to happen. It is what it is. It's fun. Um, so thank you guys for tuning in. Let me see if he, hold on. All right, folks. All right, there we go. There we
Sorry
go.
about that, people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened
You know what?
there.
This is random. Things happen.
It very much is.
Yes.
But guess what? It was a random technical difficulty. We are back. We
Yes.
are back.
Yes.
We are
Yes. And
back.
what's amazing is that we didn't lose any viewers in the midst of that.
Good.
So those are
I want to thank the 5 of you
yes.
on my side, the 5 of you for watching, even though I'm pretty sure everybody could watch this
Yeah.
right now. It's just a moment.
Yeah.
But just thank you guys for sticking with this and really it means a lot to me, and I know it means a hell of a lot to Dedrian. He's one of the best hosts out there, guys.
Thank you.
So you're gonna want to be on Random.
Thank you.
For sure.
And you know what? This is what happens when you deal with technology now and Wi-Fi and all that.
Yeah.
It happens.
Exactly.
It happens.
At any given time.
Now,
but as I was saying, but as I was saying, it was interesting because since I didn't find the right people to fill the production seats, I ended up, just having to take the driver's seat on everything. Most filmmakers, they say, usually do on their first, second, third film because they're still, just kind of getting their feet wet. Some people do a guerrilla style, some people don't. Some people have an actual backing and team behind them.
Okay.
Some people just dive right in and do it. When I decided to do it, I had a lot of negativity for me as a writer and so many other obstacles. So I took it upon myself, like at any given time, when you decide that, hey, I'm going to change my wardrobe, or I'm going to go out and get a different haircut and go out with a different look. I decided, you know what? I'm not going to go through this anymore. If I feel that I can be a filmmaker, I'm going to be a filmmaker. So I bought all my cameras, bought all my lenses, bought all of my lights, all of my recording devices, everything. I bought every living thing that I could, and I put it in my hands, and sometimes you have to do that. You got to grab the bull by the horns. I'm not trying to recreate the wheel, but I'm definitely going to add some shiny spokes to it, so it's me.
Nice.
So, the production value of this movie is so much higher than you will think just by seeing it. You know what I mean? There was so much time and effort that went into it. We started in October of 2016. There was a point where the movie almost didn't get completed, and God, I got the blessing of Deontay Hackler and Jennifer Linius, who stepped right in, and I spoke to the team. I said, listen, there's still a chance we can get this done. I just need your faith that we can do this. We're going to go back to the beginning, and we're just going to do this. And there was a lot of skepticism, a lot of eyebrow raising, and ultimately everybody put their hands in. We did it. And then April 1st, 3 a.m. was the most bittersweet feeling for me, because that's when I said, Dissolve the Game of Truth, production, that's a wrap. And then it was on to post-production, and we did post-production. And a special thank you to Mark H. Howard. He's a phenomenal editor, and he really puts heart and soul into what he does. And he listened to me. We sat in this closed quarter room, with just an iMac and some old, not old school hip hop, but like New York hip hop music playing. I'm Shazamming a lot of his songs.
Nice.
I'm playing stuff on my phone, and we're, looking at every, scene, every daily, everything that I filmed. And it was amazing. Like, he was impressed. I was impressed because I didn't know what I could do, and this really pushed the envelope for me. So for anybody that thinks that you can just wake up and be a filmmaker, yes, you can. But remember that when you wake up and you realize you're going to be a filmmaker, there's a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
It's not as easy as walking down the street and saying, hey, Bill, yes, I'm going to make a movie today. It is not that easy. If you say hi to Bill, you're also going to try and recruit Bill. If you remember having a conversation with Bill and he said, oh, I like to work the lights. Now you're going to try and recruit Bill. Then you're going to go down the street and try to find the next person and try to bring that person in. Then you got to plot. You got to plan. You got to schedule. You got to structure. Then you got to make sure that everybody on the team has, the same openings in their schedule as what you're trying to create. If that doesn't work, which 9 times out of 10 it won't, because most people have a life, then you got to find an alternative to getting it done. So it really is a lengthy process. It really is a tense process. But if you do it right and you put your heart and soul into it, and the team is with you every step of the way, it is the greatest process you'll ever experience.
Awesome, John. Awesome. Now, I got some questions. I don't see anybody asking questions, so I got some questions I'm going to ask and everything. First question.
People ask questions. Come on now.
Yes. You can comment below. Hey, this is random. This is interactive. You guys can interact with us. This isn't, oh, I don't want to interrupt. It's the whole point. you know,
Yeah,
comment,
right.
feedback.
Exactly.
Um, my first question is, you've done, you've been an actor, you've made appearances on Empire, um, you've been a director, you are a director, excuse me, singer, event host, and everything. What value do you want to give going forward?
You know, when we started this broadcast, you asked me that question, and I've been thinking about it. Um, it's hard to say the value you want to give because it's going to be perceived as one of two things: either this guy is out of his mind, or this guy really believes, he's the bee's knees. And here's what I got to tell you, people: I really am the bee's knees. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. There's no other way of putting it. There's no ego behind what I'm saying. It is strictly God. It is my heart. It is my drive, my creativity. Because if you haven't seen what I do, I post it all over the place. I don't post it to brag. I post when I host these parties for the positivity factor. And that factor is I walk into a room full of 100, 200, 300, sometimes even 1,000 people. They do not know me. They have not heard of me. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. So what do you think is going to happen next? Either I'm going to sink or I'm going to swim. And 9 times out of 10, I'm swimming like an Olympic gold medalist because everything always happens like this on a very even keel, from me party emceeing to me dancing at events, getting to know people. There's so much value in what I do in that, and I build relationships in that. To be a filmmaker is a little tougher, but at the same time, it holds the same structure. You're walking into a room that I'm in. You don't know me from a hole in the wall. You don't know my project. You don't know where my mind is, my heart is. You don't know anything. But I take my time. I tell you what I want. I give you a few instances to give me what I'm looking for or bring out the best in you to see where you can fit. And all of that takes time. All of that has value to it. Can I say that I'm worth millions of dollars? Absolutely. Will I say that? I am worth millions of dollars. Do I stand by that? Yes, I do. Why? That guy up there, this guy in here. That's why. So I feel that I hold a very strong value in this industry because I am not like anything of this industry. Some people are very abrupt, they're very to the point. As much as I can be that,
Hmm.
I choose not to be that until I have to be that. So I like to present myself differently. I like to walk into a room. I like for you to know that I'm in the room. I like to be able to, dive in and really just give with very little direction to show you that I'm an open canvas and that you can direct me, you can move me, you can tell me how you want me to deliver. Just like when you walk into my room, I'm going to tell you what you need to do to deliver. I'm going to give you the idea of the scene. I'm going to give you an opportunity, to kind of look at the script. But I don't expect for people to be off book. I don't expect for you to prepare for something like me and my projects because I'm very unorthodox. I like unpredictability because anything can happen on set. I'd rather you walk into this with an open mind and willing to give a cold read than to come in prepared. And then during production, I change something and now you don't like it because you've studied this part for this long. And now all of a sudden the director's changing it. He must be out of his mind. Well, it's not that I'm out of my mind. It's that I'm very in tune with my mind. So
Okay.
yes, the value of what I bring to the table is through the roof. And why? Because I think, I breathe, I am different. And right now this industry needs different because routine has now become so routine that the value of shows, the value of movies, the value of production is going down. Matter of fact, I just saw a brief segment on actors not memorizing their lines. Why are we getting to a point where we can't even memorize the dialogue that the director or the writing team have worked so hard on? Like, what is it about taking that dialogue and creating something that you just don't want to do? Yes, if you're completely off book and you can find a way to maybe convey the same thing, I'm going to give you that chance. But if I write something on paper, I'm going to expect that you're going to read it the way that I wrote it, and then we'll work in, some of your improv ability. Just like if I'm reading something on paper, I'm going to read it the way it was written until they tell me, now we want to see some of your improv ability. And then guess what? You're going to get the improv version of me because you just gave me the window to, you know what I mean? So, you just got to be confident in what you can do. And I'm very confident in what I can do. All I need is the opportunity. And if I don't get the opportunity, then when my productions come out, I'm giving you the opportunity. So show me what you got.
Gotcha. My next question is, what do you think is your strongest influence as far as your talent? Are you strongest as an actor, director, singer, event host? Which one has the strongest, do you think has the strongest influence on people?
I'm going to say definitely I'm like through the roof when it comes to party emceeing, but that's a different vernacular of performing because it's almost a live concert with you being the front man, but you're not the singer. You're not like the reason for the show, but you're creating a reason to bring on a show and involve everyone in it. I'm not going to say my value stops there because I feel I'm a full-fledged chameleon. I think I take bits and pieces of who I am as an MC and I apply it to so many things. And even before I was an MC, even as an actor, I felt the same way. I feel that I can walk into a room. I'm very kind. I'm very polite. I'm very just quiet, and I'm listening to what's being asked of me. And when you give me the opportunity and you say action, boom, it just turns on that way. So I think that I take a lot of different ingredients to so many different avenues of this industry to be able to bring you what you're looking for. Whether you're asking me to sing a song, I'll sing a song and I'll try to give you what you're looking for. Whether you're at a bar or club that I'm at and you're like, dude, I've never seen you dance before. Well, I'm going to give you exactly what you're looking for. If I'm walking in and you're a casting director and you give me a script and you're like, read this, I'm going to give you exactly what you're looking for. If I'm writing the script and, thinking about creating a production or in the midst of bringing a production to life, I'm going to give you what you're looking for. Like, I feel that I know I'm at 100 when it comes to party emceeing because I've given 14 years of that. And I built myself on the same aspect that I just gave on being different. I like being different. I like being a little out of the box. I like taking, something that has been traditional for so many years and putting my little mixture in and turning it into, the same tradition, different formula. I'm all about that. Because without that, really, how do businesses survive? How do you survive? How can you just be the same routine person for the rest of your life and wonder why you're not happy? Because you're not bringing something a little different to the table, and you're free to. So everything that I do, I'm at 100 with. Acting, directing, screenwriting, singing, songwriting, hip-hop dancing, hip-hop, performing, whatever it is. Acting, whatever it is, I bring so much of me in it. I leave it in the room. And once it's time for me to shut down, I'm a completely different person after that.
Okay.
So
my next question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
You can answer that question in so many ways. I'm just going to sum it up as I have many times before. Successful. I see myself making another movie, which I plan to do for 2018 people. Radio Silence is the next movie that I will be working on. So get ready for that. But, I'm putting myself out there more. I actually am working on a project in Virginia next year as well in the spring. And I'll, bring more of that up as the details come. But it's going to be a great, it's a political thriller. It's going to be great. But I'm really just trying to put my best foot forward. with a lot of different things, and I'm really just putting myself out there for a lot of different things. I meet people all the time that's somehow connected to someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who, works on these TV shows. And ironically, a lot of the people that are like that are people that I'm hosting events for, and they already love me. So, of course, they're kind of plugging me in these different avenues, and I'm getting more and more and more chances to showcase what I can do and trying to show why, I should be the guy, for this situation. But guess what? I understand that in the game of acting, you're going to walk into a room 100 times and only one of those times you're going to get booked. I already know. So I do everything that I can. I leave it in the room. And, I never doubt my abilities. I know that I'm strong. I know I can deliver. And I know that I can bring what's necessary. And I'm a chameleon, so you can guide me, you can point me, you can direct me. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to create a scene with you. I just want the opportunity to work with you. So in 5 years, I definitely see myself creating at least to start, I'm going to say 2 projects, because I know the value of the production, and it's only going to go up from dissolve. So outside of that, I see myself, on a constant track of auditioning, because I look great. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no arrogance behind it, but when you look good and you feel good, you're gonna put that good vibe out there, and I feel that that's a contagion that people need to catch on to. I'm ready. So success is going to be the name of this game, and in 5 years, you will definitely know Jonathan T. Brunson, whether it's acting, directing, screenwriting, filmmaking, party emceeing, or performing. You're going to know who I am soon enough.
Awesome. Awesome. John, where can people follow you on social media?
Yes, man, I'm all over the grid. So I don't post much on my Snapchat, but if you do look me up on Snapchat, it's at JDOTB81. I apply that to many of my other social media avenues. Twitter, at J.B81. Spell it out, put the numbers 81 at the end. Do not put a period for dot, or you're going to look stupid. My my Facebook is Jon Brunson, Jon, not JOHN, like the toilet. Jon Brunson, JON. Or you can go on my entertainer page, which is facebook.com/Jon T. Brun 81. For Dissolved, again, it's facebook.com/dissolved.2016. And also on Instagram, I also go to by instagram.com/J.B81, as well as Twitter. And man, I'm just all over the map. But if you guys want to see what I do, really, I post a lot of my videos on Instagram, and I send it through to Facebook and Twitter. So it's all on my personal stuff. So if you really want to get to know me and see what I do, those are going to be the best ways to do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, before we wrap this up, man, I got to ask you this, man, and this show is called Random. What is the most random thing to happen to you in the last year?
Can this be like a 2-part episode? No.
Oh, we might have to, we might have to go to Instagram Live and finish that and everything.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Shoot. To get that question, it's funny. Like, I should be prepared for this, but this question, I can't even answer. I've had so much craziness happen to me recently. Oh, well, I guess I can say that the most random thing that I've had the chance to do was my boss invited me to his wedding. His name is Brad Blumenthal. He runs the successful company Energy Productions.
Okay.
That is where I MC with. That's who you want to go with, people. EnergyP.com, okay, or info@energyp.com. And because he's Jewish, we have to put him in the chair as a part of the tradition.
Gotcha.
When you're married.
Gotcha.
And my boss always yelled at me at parties. He's always like, get in there. Like that's like his slogan. Like anytime he sees dancers and they're scared, or they're not doing their job. He's like, guys, get in there, and so it was funny that for the first time while we're trying to get him in the chair and he's just having so much fun, all of a sudden you hear this random dude, Brad, get in there, and he turns around and he starts cracking up. So it was good to be able to kind of throw that at him for the moment. It was such a beautiful ceremony, but I have so much random stuff happening to me, man. That's all I could come up with. Sorry, people.
It's totally fine. This whole interview and everything. Thank you, John, for coming on and doing this and everything.
Thank you, man.
This is the debut episode of Random. Again, folks.
Yes, sir.
You don't know the time. You don't know the day. You don't know the hour. You don't know the person. Just be ready. Before the next show, there will be a flyer out with that person. So be on the lookout. John agreed to be interviewed at 2 in the afternoon Central Standard Time. There might be someone that might be interviewed at 2 in the morning, 12 midnight.
You never know.
It's random. Also, the other big announcement for those of you who are watching, this show, this concept, I will be bringing to Instagram Live. For those in that audience, I actually got a pretty big following on Instagram Live, so I'm bringing that to them. So it's going to be on Facebook and Instagram Live, so this is going to be cool. John, I believe
that's awesome.
We got a comment below. I don't know if you can read it.
Yes, I just read it.
Yeah.
Yes, Tanya, you are the best. I appreciate you. Yeah, she met me at a bar that I used to go to. They changed it around now. It's a pool hall. They used to call it Q&U.
Okay.
And it was the hangout spot Friday through Sunday. And unfortunately, they stopped doing that, so now it's just strictly a pool hall. But Tanya came into town. And I guess when I dance, I make these crazy facial expressions. I don't realize it. I'm just, dancing and doing me. But I guess back then they were really, really heavy and noticeable. And she would always watch me. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like she was always observant of me. And then if I wasn't around, she would dance and make the same facial expressions I made. And I used to get mad because I'm like, I don't make no damn faces. And sure enough, I do. I've seen all the pictures and videos of myself dancing, and that's all I do is I make the crazy faces when I'm dancing. You know what I mean? But yeah, she's been a long time supporter. So I got love for you, Tanya. Thank you so much for the love. Absolutely,
John. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to bring you on this platform to showcase your influence and what you're doing and everything. You are more than welcome to be invited back and everything. For those of you who are watching,
yes, definitely.
This is the power of technology. We've been trying to meet up for over a year.
Amen.
And through this advent that Facebook has allowed us to get on and everything, I am presently in Chicago. Mr. John Brunson is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So this is how everything's being done for you guys and everything. This is random. This is the tip of the iceberg and everything. There's more to come and everything. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you missed it.
Thank you. Dedrian, again, thank you very much, man. You got something really special here.
Thank you.
And, this isn't the first time we've crossed paths. I know we've done this for a reason. And I know it's going to continue. People, get interviewed by Dedrian. He is no joke.
Thank you. Thank you. John, again, when is the release date for Dissolve, A Game of Truth?
Yes, so go on facebook.com/dissolved.2016. Tell me that you want to see Dissolve. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a personal link on Vimeo.com for you to watch the movie. The official release will be March 2018. Okay, March 2018, Dissolve, The Game of Truth will come out. However, if the movie gets enough of a boost and the page gets enough of a boost, I may just put something out leading into Halloween because it is the season for a lot of the horror movies.
Yes.
And this is a good thriller concept that really, really kind of pushes the envelope a bit. So you give that love for Dissolve, you're going to get it right back, people. And also, before we go, very special thank you to the cast of Dissolve. That is Natalie Musgrove, Kimmy Mirza, Darren Glass, who is our interviewer and game maker, great guy. Stephen George, Terry King, Deontay Hackler, Ulysses Espinoza, Jennifer Linnaeus, Carla Serrato, even myself. I even have like a small bit part in it. Mickey Royce for allowing me to use her home. Mark H. Howard, who edited the movie. Glover's Own DLP Pictures for being consulting producers. Valerie Vanderkolk did a lot of visual effects in the movie. She was also my producer in the movie. She is an amazing person and such a great talent. And any and everybody that has been a part of the production, Albert McCain, Joseph Albert, Sarah Serrato, Eric Leal, basically the whole team, man. Thank every single one of you guys. Brandon Lamont did the music for the movie. He blessed me with like three of his hit songs, and they fit so well with the movement of the film. Brandon Lamont, he spells it B-R-A, but the A's upside down, it's a D, Ndon, Lamont. Look him up, listen for him, great artist. And, just know, people, I'm not stopping, more to come, and I want you to be a part of it. So let's do this thing together. We're all hungry.
Awesome. So before we go, I want to give a random shout out to all the people that we were notified that was watching. Let's see, Christina Cash from Florida. My mom was watching. Lily Proez, thanks for tuning in. Roland, thanks for tuning in. Sean Sierra, thanks for tuning in. Angel, thanks for tuning in. Nikki, thanks for tuning in. My buddy Renee, working downtown, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. My good friend and buddy Manny P, awesome rapper and everything. Thanks for tuning in. Jose, thanks for tuning in. Kelly, thanks for tuning in. Jason Thomas,
thank you, guys.
A fellow grad from IMS, who's in, excuse me, I believe he's in Georgia or something. Thanks for tuning in. Mark Carranza, thanks for tuning in from Florida.
Thank you.
Jason Carmona, thanks for tuning in. And last but not least, Alejandro Garcia, an awesome MMA fighter from Arizona. Thanks for tuning in.
Nice, man. That's all love. Thank you guys so much, seriously, for viewing in, whether for Dedrian or myself, or just to see what this is about. It means a lot to me because now you're getting a chance to get to know a part of me. And that's not something I give away lightly. So, I really appreciate you. And, all I can say is I want to thank those that viewed on my side, who's always showed continued love and support. Thank you to those who don't watch, because guess what? Don't believe me. Just watch.
Awesome. And last but not least, before we finish and everything, for those of you who just tuned in and you're like, man, I missed anything, don't worry. You can watch this again. And if you forget to watch this, this will be on my YouTube channel and everything. So contact me. I'll send you the link to the YouTube channel, and it will be on my website and my Facebook page. My cousin Strother, thanks for tuning in from Chicago.
So you're going to see it, people. You're going to see it.
John, thank you again. Folks, this was random. That's it. We got things to do. We actually have to.
Yes, sir.
We have to produce content.
Yes,
so we can do
pay some bills, literally. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
I got to go to work. Yes. So thank you
guys.
And, love everybody for watching. Thank you. You have just fallen into random.
Yes, it's random. Thank you. Peace out, guys.